So here we are today on the shores of Lake Pupuke, which is one of Auckland's 53 volcanoes. This was once a giant explosion crater that erupted violently, threw out a lot of volcanic ash, etc. And subsequently the rains come down and it's filled it up and it's become a freshwater lake. In fact, it's the only substantial freshwater lake in any of Auckland's craters today. Pupuke Volcano, in fact, is the oldest of the volcanoes in the Auckland field. It erupted 200,000 years ago. So we're standing here beside the North Shore Canoe Club at the end of Northcote Road. And fortunately, if we just wander up the road here a bit, there's a road cutting, and there we'll be able to see some of the rocks and material that was thrown out by this volcano that tell us a little bit of the story of this eruption. So let's wander up there and have a look. So here we are getting towards the upper part of this road cutting, and we can see it's a fairly solid dark grey rock here, and when we get up close we can see it's basalt lava rock. So these are lava flows that we're seeing in this upper part of the road cutting here that have come out from Pupuke Volcano. When that lava comes out, the magma at depth has a lot of dissolved gas in it, and as it comes to the surface and erupt, some of that gas is still trapped in the erupting lava, and here these little holes all through this lava here is some of those trapped gas that's left these holes or vesicles in the rock. We can see that the lava flow is solid and massive here, but I've just passed this little bit over here. Let's go and have a look. It's quite different. In fact, it's got all this broken up rock in the lower half of the lava flow. If we zoom in, look at all this clinkery spatter here. All sorts, oh, there's a nice ropey piece here, as you can see. All sorts of clinkery bits like this have clearly been thrown out somewhere and collected in a big heap, and then the lava flow has come over the top of it and around it. Now these look like spatter, and in this instance I suspect it's coming out of a small blowhole in the lava flow below us. So as the lava, molten lava, is surging through that lava flow, it's got a crust over the surface of it, and sometimes a little hole develops, and as the lava surges it throws out spatter into the air, which just accumulates around it and builds a small mound, which this is. And these small mounds are given the Hawaiian name of hornito. We've got lava flow over the top here, which is quite solid, but the spatter is fairly loose in here, so animals and even humans have been probably digging in here and eroding back into where this loose spatter was. Well, I saw something else down in the lava a bit further down the road here, so let's go and have a look at that. Well, here we can see, in fact, we've probably got two lava flows. You see the massive lava up here above me, that's one lava flow, and down here we've got another area of massive lava, which is the earlier flow. And so this one's flowed along, and this area of broken up rock through here is the top of this lava flow, and the bottom of the next lava flow that's come in over the top, as you see it there. Here we are down the road a little bit, and we can see we've got our upper flow here, and here's the base of it going up and round and then along. Lovely solid basalt lava above, but hang on, there's this strange yellowy orange rock that's creamy on the top here. That's not lava. It's on top of the lower flow, so it's in between these two flows. If I look up a bit more closely, it's soft on the inside where it's yellow, but up here it's really hard, and it's got little bits of basalt stuck into it. It's been baked. I think the heat of this flow coming over it has baked this soft sedimentary rock. It looks like a clay, more or less, that's deposited here. But what have we got a big lump of clay doing between two flows? When I look a bit closer at that clay, I can see, in fact, it's originally was quite creamy coloured, almost white. It's a volcanic ash with a lot of silica in it. Between 1.5 million years ago and now, there were a number of large eruptions, very large eruptions, in fact, from the centre of the North Island, out of the caldera volcanoes at Taupo and Rotorua, and even some earlier ones. And they threw vast quantities of ash, some of the largest eruptions on Earth, vast quantities of ash up into the air, and a lot of it landed here, many hundreds of kilometres away in Auckland. It blanketed the whole of the Auckland landscape each time we had one of these very large eruptions. So this looks like it's a sample of that, and I suspect the lava coming up has passed through these layers of ash and ripped off lumps of them and rafted them along on top of this lower flow. And I think this is a raft of this rhyolitic sediment that was erupted from the Taupo area that's been carried along, rafted by the lava flow, sat here for a short while until the next flows come over the top, and the heat from that has baked the top of it here. We've got this real hard layer. So we're now about 50 metres down the road from those lava flows that we were just looking at. We've wandered down here and we're on the side of a small flooded quarry, and the lava flows have come down to a lower level here, and here I'm standing at the level of the top of that youngest flow, and here's some of the top of the flow here, the solid basalt rock that they've been quarrying in this area here. And now we're going to go from here across the road into the sequence of deposits that were deposited on top of the lava flows in this instance, and see the part of the younger history of the eruption from the volcano. Okay, here we are just across the road, and the road cutting is made of these layered rocks. We look up close, I can see it's got layer upon layer of volcanic fragments, lots of very fine basalt pebbles, but there's also sand and mud-sized volcanic ash in there. So in fact we've got a big deposit of layered volcanic ash. Each one of these layers that you see here would represent an explosive blast that came out of the vent, threw out material, and it was deposited as a layer over the growing ground area around that vent. And then another blast, and so we go through. And each of those blasts may have been only a minute or two apart, and so this whole section here, which is about 5 to 8 metres thick, probably only took a day or so to build up and accumulate. They were quite wet because there was water getting into the vent at that stage, and as they dried they hardened into this rock that we call tuff. Okay, so we're 10 metres further down the road from the last stop, and hey, here there's something different, this orange coloured rock. So we seem to have gone from the bedded volcanic ash or tuff into a steep-sided stack of scoria. The scoria is pretty massive, isn't it? It's hardly got any bedding in it. And it's got these very steep sides, and out to the right here we can see the bedded ash goes right up to it and then right over the top of it. And the same on the other side. The bedded ash is burying the steep-sided stack of scoria. This feature confused and bothered geologists for many decades. They really struggled to know how to explain it. But I think we've got the answer, and part of it is in the lava flow that's just down beneath me here, that's on the top of that lava flow we were looking at. And commonly lava comes out from a vent and flows through a scoria cone, and as it flows through it, some of that scoria cone may be rafted along on top of the flow. And I think what we might have here is a bit of a scoria cone up the road that may have existed, being rafted down to this position on top of this lava flow that we've got here. So then for a very short time we would have had a steep-sided stack or even a slight ridge of scoria sitting here. But within maybe days to weeks, we got water into the vent, we got these explosive styles of eruptions came, throwing out the volcanic ash, which has come along and progressively then buried our stack of scoria. And that's a good hypothesis, I think, to explain what we're seeing in the road cutting right here.